This is the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish, founder of Abish Financial Services.
A lot of firms out there say they will do tax planning, say they will do Social Security planning and RMD planning, and typically they just do investment management. They want your money.
You've worked hard your whole life to earn and save. Now you need a plan to make that money work hard for you.
Where do you stand today with your retirement accounts, with your insurance, with Social Security, RMDs, taxes, all of it? This is how we need to think. We need to think outside of the box on these matters.
Abe is here to help you unlock the keys to your retirement.
So President Biden has recently signed the Inflation Reduction Act, and it includes an $80 billion towards beefing up the IRS's tax enforcement division. But this is not intimidating. Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary, a.k.a. Mr. Wonderful, said this.
Taxes is one of your greatest expense, not sometimes, all of the time. You've got to learn how to take every single deduction that's available to you. And these deductions change all the time. They change at a state level. They change at a federal level. And you're not keeping up with the code. And that's the whole point. You're missing out on opportunities. And Uncle Sam doesn't want what he doesn't deserve. He doesn't care about that. He just wants you to abide by the code. And you've got to find professionals that help you do exactly that.
So he just pointed out what I was just saying, how things can constantly change on you and you have to stay on top of it, which is exhausting for anybody, particularly somebody who is entering into retirement. So how do you help folks in your office figure out their retirement tax planning?
Yeah, Heather, I agree with him a lot there. Look, taxes are going to be our biggest expense in retirement. You know, the country's in $30 trillion of national debt. We can just treat that like it's another number, or we can act now to potentially reduce our tax burden in retirement, because one of the biggest myths of retirement planning, Heather, is that we're going to be in a lower tax bracket when we retire. Right. Tell that to so many of our clients who have higher incomes with fewer deductions in retirement. Tell that to them, that they're going to be in a lower tax bracket, because that's what they were told when they first started putting monies away in their TSP and 401k. One of the biggest myths of retirement planning. And then, oh, by the way, the president and Congress will change and taxes can go up or down. So we believe firmly that really there's only one way for taxes to go, and that's up. So we've got to take action. And if taxes are going to be our biggest expense in retirement, Heather, then what the heck are we doing not planning for them? We've got to plan for them, and it's got to be part of a comprehensive retirement plan. And at Abish Financial, it is. And so we just had a gentleman call into the show. He's 58, retiring from the government this year, retiring early, before his 60s. Wow. Fredericksburg, Virginia. He lives in Fredericksburg. $1.5 million saved. He's a 5 on our risk scale. Okay. But he's invested in taking on more risks than he wants to, which is almost always the case. He's coming in as an 8, so he needs to de-risk. He knows he needs to get more conservative. And the issue with taxes and his retirement plan is that most of the money he has saved is in his pre-tax TSP, because he bought into this myth that in retirement he'd be in a lower tax bracket. And every year, including this year, he is maxing out his TSP, putting $27,000 a year away into the TSP. Wow. Okay, fine. We get a tax break and tax deduction this year. Right. But then we have to pay taxes on everything
yet to come,
down the road when we've got a national debt problem and when taxes are already scheduled to go back up January 1st of 2026.
Got it.
And they're scheduled to go back up by a few percent. But Heather, every time someone's in our office and we're meeting with them, I say, look, when you guys go home today, if you walk out the front door of our suite and there's a $20 bill on the ground, you're going to pick up that $20 bill probably, right?
Sure.
Of course they will. So are you not then going to pick up $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 if we can potentially save you that amount on taxes? Of course you would. Right. Do you want that in your pockets and in your portfolios, or do you want that in the government's pockets or the state's pockets? You tell me. And I'm assuming you want it in your pockets.
In my pocket. Thank you very much.
Right. So the solution for him was to basically put a tax plan together, first and foremost, though, and most importantly, to pull back that risk. And to pull that risk down to a 5, making him a 50-50 split between risk and safety, between smart, prudent risk in the market and principal protected strategies that will protect part of his life savings from the next market crash. Putting together a plan for not only the investments, but also his taxes, we ran tax mapping reports and analysis and found out that if we do about a $40,000 tax conversion per year, we can completely drain out a couple $100,000 of his TSP and probably save him somewhere around $15,000 in taxes before the tax code reverts back to what it was starting in 2026.
Okay.
Is $15,000, $20,000 a lot of money? It's not a lot of money, but it's still $15,000 to $20,000 that will probably be able to save him and his family over the next 4 years. So again, if you saw that $20 bill on the ground, are you going to pick it up? Of course you're going to pick it up. So anytime we can save people taxes, anytime we can reduce that tax liability, reduce risk, reduce fees, even in their investments, we want to take advantage. For anyone listening right now, if you are 5 years or less away from retirement, if you are retiring soon, you are concerned about taxes going up, you are concerned about market volatility, what might happen with elections this fall, what might happen with inflation and rates probably continuing to go up, we want to offer you what we offered to this gentleman, which is a complimentary, comprehensive retirement income plan to include tax planning. That's our tax mapping report and analysis. If you're 55 and older, and if you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, go to retirementkeyradio.com, click on the Contact Us tab at the top of the page, and we'll begin to have these same types of conversations with you as well.
All right, Abe, the conversation about taxes and us wanting to pay as little as possible is something that we can all agree on. However, the conversation about whether or not we're in a recession continues to be a debate. It doesn't seem like it when the market's heading back up, employment seems to be good, gas and grocery prices seem to be coming back down. However, investment manager Kathy Wood, she gave her take on Bloomberg News and said this.
We believe we're in a recession. 2 consecutive quarters of real GDP declines is the beginning of that definition. 3 consecutive months of declines in leading indicators would suggest the same. I think our point of view is that this is going to be a severe inventory recession. And while most economists are saying, the inverted yield curve points to a recession maybe next year, we believe we'll be coming out of it next year.
All right, so Abe, thinking about what she said, where we are economically speaking, as you work with folks who are planning to retire in the next 5 years or so, whether or not we're in a recession, how do you help them retire with more confidence anyway?
Yeah, so we think we are in a recession, Heather. 2 negative quarters of GDP, that was always the definition of being in a recession, right? And that's exactly what happened first and second quarter of this year. But just like inflation, they told us inflation was transitory, meaning it was temporary. It wasn't going to last long. It wasn't a problem. And here we are finding out that we're coming in hot at 40-year inflation highs. And even though the Federal Reserve has raised rates and inflation's gone back a hair, man, we're still dealing with ridiculous inflation. And then they say, no, it's not a recession. We're in transition. Come on. Give me a break.
Theories of convenience, right?
At the end of the day, we are in a period of volatility. We are in a period where the Federal Reserve is tightening and tapering and raising rates, the opposite of what they did 2 years ago during COVID, the opposite of what they did during 2008, where they lowered rates and pumped in trillions of dollars of cash to rescue the economy. And this is why the stock markets loved it, because the markets were juiced on all this extra cash, right, and low rates. And now the Federal Reserve is doing the opposite, which is a primary reason why the market started off the year down this year, the primary reason why we're seeing volatility to continue until inflation gets under wraps and control. So we had a couple call in recently, and they've done a fantastic job of saving, just like so many people we meet with. They live in Fairfax County. They have $2.5 million saved, retiring in 3 to 4 years, a 7 on our risk scale. And here were a couple of their concerns, recession being number 1. So what did we do? We ran a recession analysis and X-ray to see, number 1, can they retire in the next 3 to 4 years? Is what they have saved enough? We found out that they were invested like an 8. They want to be a 7, so we're going to reduce their risk, and we reduced their risk down. They had no plan. They're paying an advisor at a big box firm, but they have no relationship with this advisor. So they're feeling like a small fish, taking on too much risk, no plan for phase 2 and for this transition into retirement from their working career. So our solution and our plan was to help them protect and secure 30% of their life savings so that 30% of their life savings are out of harm's way. We found out that with Social Security and 30% of their life savings today, this is going to help them to accomplish the majority of their income needs in retirement, taking a lot of pressure off of their stock market-based investments.
Thanks for listening to the Retirement Key Podcast with Abe Abish. To learn more about Abish Financial Services, visit retirementkeyradio.com. And join Abe for his radio show, The Retirement Key, Saturdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. on WMAL.
Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, number 310633, a registered investment advisor firm. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Abraham Abish is licensed in your state, please call 571-577-9968. Abish Financial Services is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Abraham Abish Inc., Virginia license number 131017.